Welcome to Bed Crime Stories Podcast. I'm your host, T. I'm wishing you a wonderful day. Do me a favor, please smash the like button and please subscribe. When a child goes missing, depending on the circumstances and if foul play is a possibility, the last person he or she was with tends to be a suspect. When 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro vanished from a Big Five sporting goods parking lot in Yucaipa, California, on August 14th of 2025, his mother, Rebecca, told the cops that she'd been changing Emmanuel's diaper next to her car when a man she didn't know said, "Hola," proceeded to attack her and stole baby Emmanuel. Rebecca claimed she woke up with a black eye and Emmanuel was nowhere to be seen. Two forensic psychologists specializing in cases where kids go missing, this story sparked major concern. Some of the things that investigators flag in cases of missing children include when they start noticing 1, changes to the parent's narrative, and 2, when a parent suddenly refuses to cooperate. When these two things happen, it's usually not long before skeletons in the family start to pop up. And the outcome is often that the parent or parents turn out to be the one or ones responsible for the disappearance. In the case of missing siblings, Lilly and Jack Sullivan, we've seen changes to the narrative both by the mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, and the stepfather, Daniel Martell. We've also seen changes from the step-grandmother's narrative, Janie McKenzie. All 3 of these adults were home on the Martell property in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia, when the kids reportedly went missing on the morning of Friday, May 2nd, 2025. We also witnessed the mother, Malaya, basically up and leave the property, as well as leave her partner, Daniel. She also hasn't been turning up in front of cameras to plead for Lilly and Jack's safe return, and we haven't heard that she's out organizing searches either. And in this case, it wasn't long before the skeletons in the family emerged. We learned of a CPS report that came out of Lilly and Jack's elementary school. It sounds like there were concerns about neglect and the children's home life. There's also been talk of the stepfather, Daniel Martell's alleged drug use. We also heard from some of Malaya's relatives that she and Daniel were in financial trouble with debts in the $34,000 level and a lack of cash coming in. Money was tight. We've also heard rumors through secondhand sources that Daniel would pin Malaya down and take her cell phone away from her if she threatened to leave him. And worst of all, we've seen photos of Jack Sullivan with a black eye and bruises. And we've heard that Lilly, and we heard this from Daniel Martell, shockingly had a black eye the day before she went missing, or maybe 2 days before she went missing. At any rate, she had a black eye. When forensic psychologists see cases like Lilly and Jack's, they worry that there could be what's called a staged abduction filicide. What this means is a staged abduction done to cover a child's murder that was perpetuated by one or more of the parents. So a pretend abduction made to cover the tracks of a parent or parents who've actually unalived their child, whether by accident or not. Now, no charges have been filed in Lilly and Jack's case, and it's possible that Malaya and Daniel Martell are telling the truth, but there are enough red flags to make people dread the outcome. In her book, When Parents Invent Monsters, psychologist Joni E. Johnston identifies specific warning signs that distinguish actual abductions from staged abductions. Here are some of the warning signs she noted. 1, the convenient witness elimination. So this is when the parent has an excuse for why they did not witness the actual abduction. Malaya and Daniel Martell claim they were in bed sleeping on Friday morning when Lilly and Jack vanished. Note how this story conveniently eliminates them as witnesses to the abduction. And the same holds true for the step-grandmother, Janie Mackenzie. She too claims she was sleeping, she woke up, she had a phone call, she went back to bed. According to Johnstone, perpetrators often claim they were incapacitated and thus were unable to identify their child's abductor. It's very convenient, right? Number 2, the vague attacker. Despite being conscious enough to hear the kids playing in the next room at some point, Malaya and Daniel Martel do not describe a potential abductor or even the sounds of someone taking Lilly and Jack away. According to Johnstone, staged abductions feature, quote, similarly phantom-like assailants, end quote. Some stranger who happened to come up to that property and whisk the kids away. The physical evidence. A piece of Lily's pink blanket was found in a tree a ways from the property. There was also one child's boot print along a trail in the woods. These alleged signs of the children could very well have been planted to support Malaya's and Daniel's abduction story. So psychologist Dr. Joni E. Johnston researched 44 cases of staged abduction filicide, and this is what the data showed. 80% of perpetrators were biological parents. 2, mothers acting alone accounted for 60% of all the cases. 60% of the cases involved violent intruder stories, such as a carjacker, a masked man, maybe a home invasion. 4, 40% claimed their child simply wandered off and disappeared. This seems to be Malaya's and Daniel's story. That's what they want us to believe. 5, the unalivings were motivated primarily by one of 2 factors. 1, fatal child abuse escalating to murder, which was the case in 55% of these 44 cases. Or 2, one of the parents viewed the child as an obstacle to be removed. That was true in 45% of the 44 cases. If Lilly and Jack were abducted, every second would have counted. Unfortunately, if Malaya and Daniel Martel have been deceptive, then the early search efforts to find Lilly and Jack were misdirected resources, and the authorities lost critical time. When parents stop talking, when their stories contain suspicious gaps or timelines that don't make sense or work, when physical evidence seems staged, investigators looking into the abduction theory should be very careful. They need to also consider the possibility of parental involvement. And I'm sure the Royal Canadian Mounted Police are doing that. While we all pray that Lilly and Jack are found safe, there are enough warning signs in this case to scream that it's possible, maybe even likely, that one or more of the parents are involved in Lilly and Jack's disappearance. Smash that like button and let me know what you think.